You're listening to Where You Live with Gene and Tony.
We're back. You're listening to Where You Live, and we're broadcasting from the Natural Green Lawn and Landscape Studios. We're brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. As an American Family Insurance agent, Kim believes that there's much more to insurance than the policy itself. It's about providing you with dependable protection and services. Kim believes that trust and credibility can't be demanded. It can only be earned by what you say and what you do. Give her a call at 651-482-1598 and tell her Gene and Tony sent you. It's time now for a message from the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association. The MHA Minute is brought to you by Start to Finish Maintenance Contractors. Start to Finish provides 24-hour service for all your home and business maintenance needs. Call Start to Finish at 952-259-1219 for your home, for your business, for your peace of mind.
If you're renting out a property for the first time, there's a lot you need to know so that you can do it successfully and, frankly, keep yourself out of trouble. Luckily, there's a statewide resource with all the tools you need to run your new business successfully. In fact, the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association regularly holds a seminar called Accidental Landlord, specifically designed for people who are renting out a property for the first time. They also have residential leases, security deposit agreements, a lead disclosure, and lots of other forms. They even have brochures on the principles of successful property management and the eviction process that you can download for free. So if you want to know more about the Accidental Landlord Seminar or other classes about owning, managing, or maintaining anything from a single unit to a growing apartment portfolio, visit the Minnesota Multi-Housing Association's website, mmha.com. That's two M's, mmha.com.
I'd like to also just let our listeners know, too, of another resource that's available to you. It's free. It is our bi-monthly newsletter called What's New. A lot of what we talk about on the show, we cover in further detail. A lot of the folks that we'll have on the show will also be contributors on a regular basis. We have over 23,000 subscribers. It's yours just for the asking. All you have to do is give us a call during the week at New Concepts at 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori. She'll make sure that you start receiving that subscription either electronically or by mail. In our last story today, it's kind of something that'll help kind of tie together everything that we've dealt with. What have we been dealing with today? Our first story about a board president who thought that the rules applied to everybody else, but not him. The second, and so he ended up building a deck, and neighbors be damned, he was going to do whatever he wanted to with that deck and its size. How about the second story? Homeowners who lived in an association where he knew that there were restrictions. But guess what? Now it's the homeowner's side, and the homeowner said, well, I'll be darned if anybody's going to tell me what to do or what kind of dog I can and can't have. And so that person raises a ruckus. These are issues that are very common to homeowner associations. If you live in an association, it's one of the issues that people turn to as being one of the most egregious, one of the most unsettling things and unsavory things there is living in an association. But living in an association can be a wonderful thing, too. I wanted to end our segment here in our time today by going through an op-ed piece by a gentleman named Ken Tingley. He's the editor of the Post-Star in Glen Falls, New York. He entitled this, Bound by Free Will. And he's talking about things that we've talked about on this show before. He said, flying proudly from a short pole on my garage right now is the New York Giants flag. It's been there since the big blue playoff run to the Super Bowl championship last winter. He said, we have friends that come over. They love the Dallas Cowboys. He said, my friend's wife comments about the Giants flag that we have. It seems to rub her the wrong way. He said it might be the reason I don't take it down over the summer because she's never told me to take it down. He said that's because it's my property. I can do what I want with my property. And then he goes on to talk about a couple in the town where he's from called the Jensinskis, who were told by the association that they had to take down some signs that they had in their front yard, and they were saying that their First Amendment rights were being taken away. And this gentleman, Mr. Tingley, goes on to say, I agree with the Jensinskis. He said, I think the rules of the association do violate their First Amendment rights. He said, if I want to light up my house like Las Vegas, he said, I believe I should have that right. If I want to make my front yard look like the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and sometimes it does, I don't want telling me someone I can't do it. But then he ends his article interesting. He says, but here's the rub. He said, I am not a part of a homeowners association. Number two, he said, I would never agree to be a part of a homeowners association. However, the Janskis chose to move into a homeowners association. The Jensinskis gave away certain rights willingly and without much thought. He said the problem really could easily be rectified. He said their rights can be easily restored. The Jensinskis should move. That's not an indictment on the homeowners association, but maybe an acknowledgement of a homeowner who should be thinking, I am maybe not quite right for living in a homeowners association. And that's what we're talking about, isn't it? I mean, all the time in all of the stories that we were talking today, you're dealing with a person who said, hey, wait a minute, you can't tell me what to do. I have rights. And people in an association that are given a letter from their HOA board or from the management company, they come back and they say, hey, I thought I lived in a free country. This is a free country. You can't tell me what to do. And that goes down to the statement I first began the show with, and that is understanding this great idea that was set by our founding fathers. It's called the consent of the governed. And it goes all the way back to another set of governing documents, those that we have for our entire country. And it's called the Declaration of Independence. A wonderful document. And I don't think a lot of us really know and understand what that says and how that pertains to living in an HOA. The Declaration says, we hold these truths to be self-evident. In other words, this is something everybody knows. That we are created equal. We're endowed by the Creator with unalienable rights. That means rights that can't be taken away. What are they? Life, liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. But then it goes on to say something very interesting. Governments are instituted among men, and they derive their just powers from the consent of the governed. It's an important principle. If you live in a homeowners association, you are not being done so at gunpoint. You are consenting to abide by collectively with the other homeowners in that same neighborhood, in that direct community, to live by the same rules that they are going to live by and show respect to you. And when you have a homeowner who says, you know what, I don't believe in that those rules are for you and not for me, that's where we have a breakdown. Rules are a wonderful thing. It's because of the consent of the governed that allows me to get in my car and drive a couple tons of metal down the road on a 2-lane highway while someone is doing that on the opposite side, going the opposite direction, and we never hit. Why? Why is the only thing that keeps us apart is about 12 to 24 inches from a painted line in the middle? Well, I'll tell you why. The consent of the governed in our country said we've got laws, and those laws make sense. And when they make sense, there's a lot of freedom, isn't there? When we have certain laws in place and we respect those laws, it allows us not to be taken advantage of by someone else, and we don't take advantage of someone else either. And so, but that just doesn't translate into our federal government, into our state government, but also to a homeowners association. The consent of the governed. If you live in an HOA, folks, you need to remember you are giving that up for additional freedom and opportunities that you'll have in a great living experience. Well, hey, that's all the time we have for today's show. Thanks for joining us. Have a great rest of the weekend. We'll look forward to having you here next Saturday on Where You Live.
I have been chosen. Farewell, my friend. I go on to a better place.
Bye.